everybody, it's the Maltese vegan here. I've got a bit of an announcement to make and a challenge to bring to you. Not gonna be a long video. It's not actually a video that has been really scripted. In fact, I rarely ever script my videos, but I have some points that I have in mind which I really wish to bring forward. So first of all, it's the 2nd of January, and in January there is what's called Veganuary. So Veganuary, it's obviously the amalgamation of two words, vegan and January, and there's this concept, let's say, where we as vegans challenge other non-vegans, especially, to take up this 30 or 31 day challenge. It's a 1 month challenge for the week of January, where you go completely vegan. The idea is to do your best, obviously. So when I say completely vegan, ideally you are completely vegan for that month. But if you maybe make an effort to reduce your consumption of meat and dairy, you have to do the best. You have to try and do the best that you can, at least for that month. Ideally, it's a full month, because first of all, I think it's easier that way. You've got less temptation, and that's where you feel the full benefits of going vegan, and that's where you have a good indication of whether it's a good idea for you to go vegan or not. You might think, oh, this is just some other propaganda of vegans who are trying to tell us or push their ideology on other people, when, well, first of all, veganism isn't an ideology, but beside that point, it's important to understand that we as vegans have absolutely nothing to gain from wanting you to go vegan. The only people who, or things, or objects, or whatever you want to call them, who get any benefit are the animals, yourself, health-wise. If you convince other people to go vegan, then those people around you, the environment, which obviously impacts you yourself too. It's completely a selfless proposition for you to go vegan, and where you have everything to gain and really had nothing to lose. Why 30 days? Probably because first of all, it's a rounded figure, it's a month, and secondly, because probably that's the amount of time your body needs to get rid of those toxins and those addictive substances which keep you from staying away from veganism. You've all heard that expression where someone tells you, I could remove everything from my diet except for cheese, I would die without cheese, or I love cheese, I love bacon, those kind of comments. That's all it takes. Maximum of a month, 3 weeks minimum, but probably a month, to get rid of those addictive substances. So there's a website for Veganuary. It's got everything you need, because it's understandable when people tell you it's hard to go vegan. It's because they're thinking about something they have no clue about. All they think is they have to change to do something. So it's like you've lived in the US for all your life, or in the UK all your life for 70 years, never left that island, and all of a sudden you're being told to live in Thailand or in China, or I'm thinking of somewhere that's the opposite side of the world, not because there's anything wrong with those countries. But if someone had to tell me to do that, since I consider myself a bit more open-minded, then I would say, that's a nice thing to try out, to actually go to and to actually live there. But someone who's lived their life, all of their life, in a particular country, the only thing they're going to think of is, no, it's too difficult, even without knowing anything about what the challenge actually involves. So yes, I understand that in that sense it's hard, but then so is anything that is new. The easiest thing is doing nothing. So yeah, if you want to stay where you are, health-wise, environment-wise, violence on animals, and animal liberation-wise, if you want to keep everything as it is, then yeah, do nothing. That's the easiest thing. But if you want to actually make an impact, then do something. And once you start, that's the hardest part. It already gets easier. So why am I saying all this? It's because the site Veganuary itself gives you the tools, all the questions that you probably would get as you go along in this month, they're answered there. Obviously, I'm here to answer them. If you know any vegans, go ahead and ask. The internet is full of information, but in this particular site, veganuary.com, you've got a starter kit which gives you information about recipes, eating out, myths that you might have heard, and the answer to those, all the information you need. I've actually just suggested Veganuary to 3 people. Fortunately, my feeling is that at least for this month it's not going to be tried, but in reality this challenge does not have to be done in January. It doesn't even have to start at the beginning of a month. You can start it whenever. Just putting a date and a time frame generally makes it easier to stick to and to start. But anyway, I've suggested it to a friend of mine who is actually considering that step, particularly for health reasons, because she's noticing that things like dairy, for example, upset her a lot. I suggested it to my dad, whom I really wished. In fact, I actually asked him to do this as my Christmas gift rather than giving me a Christmas gift, for the sake of his health, and obviously because I want him to be around for as long as possible. So in that sense, yeah, that's an egotistic kind of reason for me wanting someone to turn vegan, and he kind of shut that down quite immediately. And then I suggested it to an aunt of mine who is going through some health issues, some serious ones, and yeah, it's the only thing she hasn't tried. So again, nothing to lose. And we're saying it's a month. That is a very important thing to think about. That even if I had to ask you to do it for a year, there's always the opportunity or chance to go back. So it's not like once you're there, you're gonna think, I'm stuck here. It's like you signed, your name in blood, and that's all. You've sold your soul or something like that. You can always go back. The only thing that I would tell you is that finally, when you're at the end of the challenge, there's a high probability you yourself would not want to go back. So is that really tying yourself and restricting yourself from certain foods when it's food you don't want? Anyway, the announcement, which I have already hinted at, is that in addition to Veganuary, which I really strongly suggest that you do visit the site, and all the videos which I have made, which many other vloggers have made, with recipes, vegan recipes, suggestions and tips and help and hints about veganism. Besides all that, I'm going to try this month to produce a bit more videos than once a week, as I was doing prior to Vlogmas. And in these videos I'll be focusing as much as possible on Veganuary, so giving either recipes or tips or suggestions or help. Feel free to comment, that helps a lot to give me ideas on where you need help. And yeah, I'll be doing those videos as much as possible, hopefully once a day, but probably it's going to be a bit difficult. After Vlogmas I kind of really need to catch up with work, but yeah, I'll do my best. In fact, right now I'm already having this vegan product. It's yogurt, but it's soy. You see, you don't need to give up anything. Information like this is also inside the Veganuary site. Anyway, I'll cut this video short, although I probably passed 10 minutes already. Subscribe, especially if you're thinking of turning vegan and want some inspiration and some ideas. Like this video, it helps a lot. Comment down below, especially with your suggestions, and peace out. Live simple, live large.